Live and YouTube Live. All right, that's it. Welcome to the Sunday night Wonderful World of Generation X, where we go live every Sunday night right around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to say right around because I'm habitually late. But that being said, I was on time today. Dude, go figure. That never happens. I'm almost exactly on time. It is 8 o'clock by my calculation. So as you guys are coming in, and I might be alone for a little bit because no one's expecting me to be on right at 8, although it looks like Facebook's filling up pretty quick. Doreen, I see you over on YouTube, old school, almost always the first one in the door, whether it's my videos or whether it is my lives. Appreciate you. Just a Jim of all trades. Love it, man. Good to see you. Tamara, hello. Good to see you over on Facebook. Laura, Joe, Doreen, I said, hey, dude, what's going on? Linda Duncan, good to see you. Andrew, my Gen X Goonie, over on Facebook. Dude, what's going on? How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week? Weekend went fast. I got like big light and it's showing little things in the air. But anyway, Gen X, Zach, good to see you. Andrew, Facebook Live keeps us up. Jody Williams, hello. Cindy Buckner, hello. Cajun S, good to see you. Ice Parsons, Gina, Jody, Andrew, Lori. I feel like I'm looking through my little mirror. Do you guys remember that? What was that? Romper Room? I see Robert and MC. I see Wirehead and Doreen. I see Robert and Tawny, Lori and Michelle. You know what's funny? Because with a common name like John or Johnny, hey Brian, what's up, brother? They didn't usually say, hey John, because I think it was so common that they just didn't mess with it. I see Kevin Pierpoint, go Ravens. Hit that like button and the $2. As always, tonight is Sunday night. The goal is $89.50, whatever that means. Basically, we always run the donations, better off dead style. Want my $2. If you're willing, have at it. Otherwise, I don't worry about it. Romper, bumper, stomper, do. That's what it was. Good evening, David Cox. Good evening, Dale. Haven't seen you in a while, Dale, or at least I didn't see your comments if you've been around. Good to see you again. Hello, Joseph. There we go, Ernestine, starting us off with the $2. I saw a great meme about that. What's going on, Travin? Great meme where the kid from I Want My $2, who's like 50 right now, is sitting on contestants row at The Price is Right, and he just lists $2. I thought that was pretty smart. My day's going good. It's been a good day. It's been a rough week. The world, I'm not going to say much about it. I want the world to be a better place. Thank you so much for the stars. Just the Jim, thank you, $1.99. I'm not going to get into it. This is where we go to get away from all that crap. You want to share it, but can't. You should be able to share the live, Deb. The world wasn't perfect in the 80s. I don't look back and put something on the times we grew up and that weren't there. I'm not pretending racism and hatred, bigotry, and all that didn't exist in the 80s. It did. But whether or not things were better then or better now or not as good then or not as good now, whatever it is, I want to do everything I possibly can with whatever small platform God has given me to spread positivity, to show us why we are more alike than we are different, and hope that each and every one of us can have hope that we can make things better too. Too many people on too many posts that I've seen have all but given up and said that it's impossible. It's impossible because of this person or that person, because this leader's doing this or that faction's doing that. Thank you so much, Cajanus. That's not true. Nobody, regardless of who they are or what they do, controls our attitudes towards each other's. We own that. And the only thing and the final thing and the only thing I'll say on it for this entire hour, I won't address it again, is we control how we behave towards each other, what we do to show each other that we appreciate them, that we accept them, that we lead with kindness and goodness and love and all that good crap. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. When you have a choice in your heart to do or say something nice, or to not say anything at all, or to say something mean, pick the first two. Say something nice or nothing at all. And that's not to say don't go out there and express your opinion. Don't go out there and fight for things to be better. I'm not saying that. We would be nowhere in this country without standing up and speaking out against injustice. You know what I'm saying. Time, place, and a way to get it done. So that's all. As far as the sweatshirt, it's in my merch store. This is the new line of merch that just came out, genxjono.dashery.com. I've got hoodies and stuff right now. This is one of my favorites. If you guys don't remember, this is Mr. Yuck. And Mr. Yuck meant no. Stay away. And Mr. Yuck was created, I think, in Pittsburgh. For those of you guys in Pittsburgh, in PA, Mr. Yuck came from Pittsburgh, and it was a poison control initiative. Because before that time, all that we really had was, parents saying, don't drink the bleach. That was the beginning and end of the plan to keep kids from poisoning themselves. And I will say that based on the fact that Generation X and the generations before us seemed either fairly intelligent, or when we weren't, it was just considered weeding out the weak, thinning the herd, getting rid of the dumb before we were allowed to promulgate. We did okay with that non-plan. But at some point, someone decided we needed to do a little better, so they handed out stickers. Now, some said, well, the parents were supposed to place the stickers. That's fallacy. That's revisionist history. For me, I can tell you the stickers were handed out to us in school. And yes, we were told, share these with your parents, have it like a project at home to go around and place it on the bleach, to place it on the rat poison, to place it on the whatever it was. And that was going to keep us away from consuming. Parents didn't have the time, effort, or inclination. So wherever we put it, we put it. That's all. That's all there was to do it. ML Zabrana says, I remember Mr. Yuck. I didn't pay him much attention. None of us did. Half the stickers ended up on our Trapper Keepers. That was my entire point. But today, it makes for a little bit of nostalgia, and I think we need to bring it back and maybe coordinate with Tide to maybe place it on the pods. Like maybe just stick it somewhere on the Tide Pods, if nothing else. It could work. Place it on Brussels sprouts? Yeah, no doubt, Kevin. Stuck one on my sister, says David. I believe we were smarter than the current generation. Well, Stacy, I'm not throwing any jabs their way. It is what it is. Maybe they have their thing and we had ours. You can't really take too much of a high ground when we were the generation that played chicken with jarts. Threw them in the air, and if you moved, you were the loser. Travin says, due to rising costs, dirty deeds are no longer done, dirt cheap, so I'll cover $2 for a few people. That's $5, including Travin, that's set. Robert coming in with 99 stars over on Facebook. Thank you, guys. Appreciate both sides of that. We were allowed to FAFO, and we did. We weren't geniuses. The amount of stupid things I did. Did you guys ever do the pass out thing? I talk about it once in a while. I don't want younger kids to hear about it and get ideas. But I remember boys, not girls, boys, we would go into the locker room or we would stay late after gym. What we thought was hilarious, we'd have someone intentionally hyperventilate. He would breathe in and out really fast, a bunch of times. Eli, thank you for sending out gift memberships. Appreciate you. And then after a significant amount of time, when you were hyperventilating, over-oxygenizing, or I think what it was you were breathing in and out so fast, you were beginning to consume carbon dioxide instead of oxygen. At any rate, however it worked. At some point, we decided to put our forearm up against our buddy's neck, chest, upper chest area, restrictive breathing area, and keep it there until our friend's eyes rolled into the back of his head and he flopped around the ground like a fish. We thought that was hilarious. We laughed at it, and then, CO2 buildup, says Lori. Well, I knew it was something like that. We thought it was hilarious, and we took turns doing it until one too many concussions landed us all in the principal's office, and we had a district-wide assembly being told not to do this sort of thing. That was stupid. Go Bills. We don't get the high ground on being smarter. I think anyone under the age of 18, Tammy says, who are we kidding? We still do dumb stuff. Exactly. But definitely, if you're under the age of 18, I don't know if it's that whole frontal cortex thing or what it is, but you're just dumb by design. More or less, I don't know. But I will never pretend to be smarter than the kids, the 16-year-olds, the 17-year-olds, when we were. That said, Some of my videos may allude to the fact that we were smarter 25-year-olds than some of the 25-year-olds today. So I don't know. There might be that. Let's see. We've got Ask a Question popping up on YouTube. I don't even know what that is, but I'll use what they give me, because when I use what they give me, it tends to do well. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. Silly Putty and Newspaper. Let me know if you know. I know. I loved it. I don't know how this is supposed to work. Age doesn't determine intelligence. No, it doesn't, but it does determine some semblance of wisdom. And that's the kind of thing that I try to impart on young kids. When kids say, that we aren't smarter than they are, I do say that we're wiser than they are, because life experience creates wisdom. Green machine over big wheel. The sky is blue based on refractory tendencies or properties dealing with light. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I often will say, okay, I don't want this here anymore. We are wiser. And some of us aren't as wise as we should be, and some are far more wise than we should be. But I don't know a single person that will ever come forward, prove me wrong. There's nobody in these rooms, in either Facebook or in YouTube. None of you, I would assume, would think that you were wiser 30 years ago than you are today. I just literally told my daughter this the other day. I go, there's never been in the history of time a 51-year-old that said that they were smarter at 21, wiser at 21 than they are at 51. It's just, unless you age backwards like Mirth from Earth, then it's just not possible. Let's get the thumbs up going on YouTube. Thank you, LA. I appreciate that. There's my friend Life. What's going on? How old are my kids? I have a 21-year-old and a 13-year-old. Which generation is better with technology, Gen X or Gen Z? What do you guys think? I've got the stats on it. This is one I actually know. But in terms of being able to not only use technology, but get into it, fix it, determine it, problem solve it, do all that stuff, one is definitely better than the other. David says, I thought I was smarter 30 years ago. I was wrong. Ice says, would I ever want to go back? Just to visit. Just to visit. I like where I am. I like where I am in my life. I would love to visit. I can't imagine how incredible it would be to wake up one morning for a short amount of time and feel what it felt like to be in my, 22-year-old body. I don't have a lot of aches and pains, but I bet you I've got more than I think I do. It would be kind of cool. It would be cool to go back to 1992. I'd like to do it as kind of like a traveling journey, like kind of quantum leap it. If I had the ability to quantum leap back and visit 1977 as a 7-year-old on my banana seat red Schwinn during the summer of 1977, running around on my bike with freedom no 7-year-old should ever have, and then leap. And find myself at 1984 on the cusp of that freedom. I don't quite have my permit yet. I'm still a child, but I can see young adulthood. What did that feel like? What was that like? 17-year-old, 19-year-old, 24-year-old. That would be kind of cool. At 52, I feel dumber than a box of rocks. Yeah, but Deb, at 52, you know what you don't know, and that's why we feel dumb. It's not a bad thing to feel dumb at our age. It's just we've gotten so old that we know now what we don't know. Now, getting back to the Gen X versus Gen Z thing on technology, I don't think it surprises anybody that statistically speaking, generation-wide as a statistical norm, Gen X is more adaptable to new technology over Gen Z. Gen Z are early adopters of new technology. They like to use it. They like to have the newest phone. But when things go wrong, when their phone suddenly becomes a brick, they don't know what to do with it. They never experienced learning BASIC, learning COBOL, learning HTML, understanding what's behind the screen, whereas we did. And hey, Latanya, good to see you. And that's what makes Gen X a little special. We grew into the technology. We grew with it. We saw the early side of it, and we were used to it changing. Whereas they were kind of born into it. And not as adaptable. Wish I didn't know what I didn't know back then, says Kristen. Ice says my sister and brother are Gen X as well. Both my brothers are. One's an older Xer, one's a younger Xer. I'm right in the middle. Tracy says dad didn't want to, no, sad. I don't want to learn new tech. I let the grandkids help me through it. Well, Tracy, and that's fine. I will say that's probably a minority, or you're maybe the older side of Gen X. I don't know. I will say that we're the generation that taught our parents and our kids how to use the technology. We had to help our parents when they started transitioning to do things online. They didn't know how to do it. My mom, I still help. I'm on her email. I make sure she doesn't get scammed. So, and yet in my house, when the server goes down, all my kids do is say, Dad, the internet's down. And it's up to me to decide what's going on. You know, is it the router? Is it the server? Is it Verizon? What's going on? It's still us. Boomer is best. Well, that's very boomer-esque. I'll let you say that. I can't say I adore you, but I like your content. Okay, I'm all right with that. Teresa says, I love that sweatshirt. Appreciate you. Yeah, genxjono.dashery.com. Link in my link tree if you guys want to check it out. I got a whole bunch of stuff. This is one of my newest. Marie Clayton coming in with her $2. Thank you, Marie. Love my soccer boppers. My favorite is this. Lee Majors, Lindsay Wagner, Bionic Man, Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man. I will be seeing them in roughly 2 weeks as I travel down to Orlando, Florida for the Fanboy Expo. So watch for that. It is September 26th, 27th, and 28th, I think. It's that weekend anyway. You can subscribe to my channel, my calendar at genxjono.com to see where I am when I'm going places. Am I enjoying my new Batman? I love this. So this is cool AF, as the kids will say. So the box looks exactly like the boxes that our Halloween costumes came in. Do you guys remember the Ben Cooper costumes? So these are available at Target. Now, this is not a commercial. They're not sponsoring me. Not that I would say no if they wanted to. I'm not ignoring you, Linda. I promise. That's what this is supposed to look, just like the boxes that were just stacks and stacks and stacks of them. And then inside, there was the costume. And this is a kid dressed up in the Ben Cooper Batman costume. I had this costume. I dressed up as Ben Cooper Batman. He's got the pillowcase, of course, for his candy. The mask with the string that rarely made it all the way through the night. Steven got the eye holes and the razor sharp mouth hole. I'm not ignoring her, John. Don't get her going, please, God. I love all my regulars. You guys are in here. I appreciate you guys. Now, this is so cool. There's a Batman, there's a Superman, there's a Wonder Woman, there's a Joker. There's a whole line of these, and I want to collect as many as I can. I asked you if I'd flex for $5 on Tuesday. I never even flinched. Linda, I didn't even see it, to be honest. Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada are going to be at the Chill Out Expo, which is in Whippany, New Jersey at the end of October. I'd really, yeah, Travin, you're a regular, my friend. I say regulars because, I don't know, I'm a lifelong bartender, and you guys are like my Norm, my Frasers, my, Carla. You guys are the ones that are there day in, day out, week in, week out. You guys are the regulars at the bar for me. Exactly, Doreen. I was up near Whippany last weekend. Yeah, I want to go there. It's called Chill Out Expo. I've reached out to them. Not really getting a ton of response. I just want to see if I can help promote it. LA says, don't cut me off, Jono. Not a chance. Because I'm excited. It looks like a great convention. But if I go, I want to be sure I'll be able to do things like stream the panels and stuff. So I need for them to get back at me. There's no love for first timers. Dude, Paul, there's always love for first timers. Absolutely. Milkbone underwear, says ML. So yeah, it's called Chill. You'll see on my Facebook page, I've got a link to their. If you guys want to throw them a message, get me in there. I would love to go. The cast from Chips will be there. Eric Estrada, dude, Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada. Chips was one of those shows for me that it's a core memory. We got on our bikes. We were California highway patrolmen. I even had the plastic helmet that we wore. I was John. My little brother was Ponch. We played chips. I don't know. It was really cool. So that would be awesome. We'll see. Bills did have an awesome game today. It's nice to just chill, to relax, and be able to watch the game without being stressed out. Jose says, I was Evil Knievel. That was another one. We did that too. Definitely jumped the bike. Leslie says, I watch you every day. I'm in Mass in Boston. Yes, I've got the accent. Come see us. I would love to. I would love to come to Boston. I have not been invited to a con up that way yet. But if I did, I'd take it. Where's my acknowledgement, John? North Carolina here. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you, neighbor. Monica Cook says, I had such a crush on Eric Estrada. Most did. Every now and then I'll get somebody that says they were a Larry Wilcox fan, a John fan. But I think most of them was Team Punch. Glad your team win. Wish my did. Yeah, we're 2-0. I'm grateful. Next week, we have a short week off. We got to go Thursday night with in Buffalo against Miami. I think divisional games tend to be tough. Miami's a lifelong adversary. I'm not taking them lightly. We'll see how they do. Squish the fish. Met Eric Estrada in Muncie once. Official police officer there. That's pretty cool. My red sled in winter was the General Lee. LA says, I was kidding. No worries. I used to drink with Evil Knievel in Spokane. That's pretty cool. So getting back to Orlando, if you guys happen to be anywhere near there, dude, I would recommend checking it out. I am psyched. $60 Million Man, Bionic Woman. The Blockbuster video experience, I think I'm almost more excited about than anything. It's the people from the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. They're going to have their mobile Blockbuster video out. I'm going to be making content with them in the Blockbuster video. And I'm psyched. I just hope to have a ton of fun. Chips, Charlie's Angels, and a yacht named Desire. You got me out of 2 out of 3 of those. The yacht threw me off. John fan. Bend, Oregon. Yeah, that's where the last Blockbuster is. I'm obviously not going there, at least not this time. They're coming to Orlando, and I will see them there. That last one, I butchered it. Blockbuster should have bought Netflix when they had a chance. Without a doubt, LA is pitching for Chicago. I wanted to go to C2E2 or whatever that was. I just didn't get a chance. I had passes, but we had some family issues at the time. Maybe next year. I was in love with John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard. That's me quoting somebody, and not me. I did love Bionic Woman. No doubt. Major crush on Lindsay Wagner. What's going on, Black Star? How can dial-up still exist in 2025? I never seen it. Well, it did. I'm not sure it still does. AOL stopped their version of it earlier this month. C2E2 was the Comic-Con in Chicago. Yeah, you can say hi. Of course you can say hi.
I'm just going to say hi.
Cleo saying hello. Just a lot of people talking stuff. My crush was Daisy Duke. Travis, I'm there with you. Yeah, I think kids today, I don't know. I don't know if they have crushes on adults the way we did. I remember being 12 years old and having a crush on what I thought was a very old Lindsay Wagner. She was probably just in her 20s. Do you guys watch TV and have crush on like adults? Probably not.
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Linda says hi, Cleo.
Hi.
Kelly says hi, Cleo. LA says hi, Cleo. You gonna study some more?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Love you.
Love you.
Call me if you need help, okay?
Okay. Bye, guys.
I was in love with New Kids on the Block. I don't think you're alone. John Schneider. Cleo, do you have a crush on Logan Paul?
Ew, no.
Ew, no. My crush was Joe from The Facts of Life. How funny. I just put up a live video today. The one where Tootie gets drunk. Teresa Treasure, how are you? Good to see you. Alyssa Milano. Dude, the amount of crushes we had. Linda Carter, without a doubt. Daisy Duke was Catherine Bach. Lindsay Wagner was the Bionic Woman. Debbie Gibson, somebody says. Sonia says, goodbye, old school internet. Those days are done. They are. Whoever the new kids on the block person was messaged me. It's funny because on Instagram, Donnie Wahlberg started following me. Haven't had a lot of, he doesn't comment much, but when he started following me, I told some people at work, and the women just went nuts. Like I went up 15 steps in their estimation because I was somehow now connected to Donnie Wahlberg. I took that picture in, where was it, Tampa, with Joey Fatone. So that's two. Well, that's a new kid and an in-syncer. So that's two boy band connections, as it is. I don't know. Believe it or not, Catherine Bach is from Warren, Ohio. I have no reason not to believe it. Who's her crush? Oh, I'm her dad. She wouldn't tell me. Heather Thomas. Of the Heathers, I was probably more Locklear than Thomas. LA says Joey Fatone is hot now. All right. Bo Brady from Days of Our Lives. Dude, what's going on, Cher Jones? Chrissy, Janet, and Jack. I'm just saying, why do Gen Z others walk down the middle of the road instead of on the sidewalk? I don't know. I'll tell you, I just did a video. Somebody shared with me the statistic that Generation Z, statistically, those Gen Z adults 18 to 30, well, 18 to 27. I think the oldest Gen Z is 27, but the stats are 18 to 30-year-olds anyway. 25% of 18 to 30-year-olds today, the majority of which are Gen Z, have never had sex. They report that they abstained. And the reasons they give, it's not like this moral, pious attitude about abstaining from it. It's basically anxiety, lack of socialization, lack of opportunity. And it is what it is. And I did a video and I'm like, damn, 18 to 30, 25, 35% say they've not had a partner in over a year. At 18 to 30, I don't know. 29 and I never drink alcohol or sex. I think it's gross. Okay. And again, not judging. It's just such a change. Like when I see societal norms change from one generation to the next, I think it's insane. The arm does not roll up, unfortunately. And most of them don't at this age. The rubber cracks and falls off. I wish it would. JR from Dallas, I Dream of Jeannie, Tracy Richards, the Dallas cast, Bobby, Sue Ellen, Ray, and Lucy will be in Orlando in a couple weeks when I go there. But yeah, that's insane. And I talked about how boomers specifically, when you think of baby boomers, they have this societal stereotypical facade, right? They're the Karens, they're the older people. I mean, listen, I'm in food service. Generally speaking, gross generalization, gross stereotyping. It's absolutely, I'm sure, anecdotal. It means nothing, but get their Brussels sprouts wrong and you'll hear about it for a while. They can sometimes have this thing where they may seem a little uptight, but this is the same generation that was burning bras, tripping out on LSD, having sex naked in the mud at Woodstock during the Summer of Love. This is them. They're the same people. And it's really hard. My daughter will complain. She's like, they're so uptight. And I'm like, honey, they're older now. They're old. It's what it is. But they weren't always like this. You got to remember, people change over time. You know, and then as far as us Gen X, I make the joke that our Summer of Love came with a side of AIDS. I remember it being the norm to get tested, right? Often, like if you were getting into I remember in my 20s, if I was entering into a new relationship, if my friends were, it was not uncommon to have to get tested. Our Summer of Love came with death. People were dying everywhere. So that slowed us down. And Gen Z is just this is their norm. I just think it's interesting. And you know, I can make a joke out of it a little bit. Night, Jim. Linda says I am an incel, female incel. Come on. I had a roommate that would have been born at Woodstock, except his parents' car broke down on the way. Oh, wow. I was married, had 2 kids, and divorced by the time I was 21. I was a McDonald's counter cashier, and that went by way too fast. Oh, and had a boomer get the wrong drive-through and throw her bag at me. Yeah, again, do I think that's indicative of all boomers? I think it's like any stereotype that exists generationally. The small, loudest minority. I don't think all Zoomers are stupid. I don't think all Zoomers are lazy or incapable of working. I think they have work ethic. I think they struggle because of the same things we struggle with. But the loudest, smallest minority of them are the ones that are pointing a camera at their face and saying they can't work 15 hours a week. It's just too much for them. If you think I'm bad with you, there's a Canadian podcaster with a hotline who says, say anything, and I do. I was married at 22 and will celebrate 33 years in November. Congratulations, Dorian. I got married later. Let's see, we got married in 2002, so I was 32 years old when I got married. You live in the 70s. Were you hippies? I was 9 when the 70s ended. So no, I didn't get a chance to be a hippie. What's funny is I remember being a little kid and I remember thinking to myself that they needed a shower. I don't know if it was my parents, opinions that moved down to me. But I literally do. I remember thinking to myself that hippies were dirty and needed a shower. Yeah, Michelle, there's a few of those videos out there. They're like, I can't work. It's inhuman to work 40 hours a week and still have good mental health. But again, I don't think that's the norm. I think that's a rage bait in some instances, and in some instances, just a loud, lazy minority that has no problem pointing a camera in their face and making their whole generation look bad. Never married. My brother's been married and divorced twice, so I lost that. That went too fast. 80s and 90s, best decades. Not going to disagree. 70s are pretty cool, too. Sadly, the end of Gen Z and now Gen Alpha. Wow, it's going fast over on Facebook right now. Doing what I can to keep up, guys. Sorry. Did I ever give the answers to I Named That Tune video? They were in the comments section. I'd have to look again. The only one I saw people were getting wrong is saying pressure instead of Vanilla Ice. 70s, a decade where the country was in the middle of a sexual revolution, wearing clothes that guaranteed they... Oh, I don't know, Kevin. A lot of them did, regardless of what they were or weren't wearing. It's okay, John. You got millions of fans. Yeah, the room's not that full, though. I'm glad everybody's engaged in typing. Even with 200 people, if everybody types at the same time, it gets past me a little bit. What's going on, Mary Thompson? Galindo, good to see you. Black Star, celebrating 5 months as an honorary excerpt. Dude, appreciate that. I can name that tune in 2 notes. I love that show. I always thought it was cool when they did it in 1, and that's what that video was. Me just giving 1 note of each song. It's weird how things changes so quick after the 90s were over. Mr. Blackstar, $1. Appreciate you, brother. I did a video so I'm 55, 1970. In 1970, a 55-year-old would have been born in 1915. So the 1970 version of a 50-year-old born in 1915. 10 years later, as a 10-year-old looking at 1950, that's ridiculous. So somebody being born in 1970 would have eventually looked at someone born in 1915 and been like, dude, old. You horse and buggy old. I don't feel that old. I don't see how that's possible. I'm sorry, Carol. Make sure if you're on YouTube, you hit the bell over by my front page. Should help you get notifications. 1915 was ancient. Let's say like 65 even, when I was 10 years old. When I was 10, somebody retiring would have been born in 1915. That's 1980. That seems ridiculous to me. John says, you're not old. I'm old. Shauna, how are you? Coming in from Nova Scotia. It's just, you might look old, but you act young. Are you saying I look old, Ghostly? Really? That's the best backhanded compliment I've gotten all day. I don't feel old. I don't act old. I don't necessarily think I look old. Maybe I do. Maybe it's delusion. I don't know. But I hope I never change. If it's delusion, I hope I never recover from it. I'm old in the sense that I'm old enough to make sure that I'm responsible enough to take care of my family. I'm old, meaning I take the weight of responsibility for the mortgage, for the car payments, for the health insurance. I'm old where I know I can't just run out and do what I want to do when I want to do it. So, yeah, but that old I've been since I was like 20 years old. That sense of responsibility was beaten into me quite literally from my parents uh, from a very young age. Be responsible. Be responsible for yourself. Be responsible for those around you. So we were that kind of old always. And the kind of young I am is that I still dream. I still hope. I still believe that there's a lot of exciting things ahead of me. And that kind of young, I think we also have always been. I made a T-shirt of it. Gen X is as young as we've ever been and as old as we're going to get. This is it. This is X years old. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. This is who we are. We are going to age differently. Maybe not on the outside necessarily, although there's evidence that that's happening too, but on the inside. Nothing wrong with being seasoned, says Sonia. I just own it. When I turned 54, my coworker said, "You don't look a day over 50," and she actually meant it as a compliment. What's going on? Go Bills. Thank you, Barb. I'm at the point where I'm looking forward to retirement. I'm not. I'm looking forward to changing. This has been an amazing change. I don't want to retire from this anytime soon. Thank you, LA. I'm very comfortable doing what I'm doing now for as long as I can possibly do it and more. I've been taking care of my mom since I was 16. I had to grow up faster than I expected. Yeah, I get that, Travin. I can remember my mother telling me, "Don't do anything to embarrass the family." Corey, that was huge. The Bills game was amazing. Yeah, bringing shame upon our parents' name. I don't know the last time I've heard 40 reference their good name, like the name being something. Think about, I said I was going to go back into it, but not really getting into it, but just as an example, the stuff we see online, right? People getting online and saying all sorts of nonsense, saying things that you would never say in a room full of people, but they have no problem saying it when they're alone in their room, staring at a camera, which could be that what goes out could be seen by potentially millions. That's ruining their good name. I am very cognizant of every word that comes out of my mouth, and for a Gen Xer, that's difficult. I also have the benefit of not having hate in my heart. I don't want to say things that'll hurt people, no matter what side of the aisle, no matter where they are in life, no matter how old they are, how young they are, how rich they are, how poor they are. I don't want to hurt anybody that hasn't brought pain upon me. And even those that have brought pain upon me, I still hope that I can wish the best for them and change. But we were taught, do not bring shame upon the family name. Don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass yourself. Shame was a thing. I don't think shame exists anymore. The internet's forever. And Kristen, to a degree, shame was expected to be forever. An apology didn't get you out of that. It was different. Happy birthday, Anthony. I had to grow up fast, got married at 18, had 3 boys before I was 22 years old. That'll do it. Share shame and respect, not non-existent, Doreen. Less emphasized. Things we might have said. Kids have heard us say that respect needs to be earned. Those kinds of sayings have been around for a long time. And when you think about it, it's not really the way we were raised. No one had to earn our respect. If respect is courtesy, if respect is interpreted as politeness, if respect is interpreted as treating someone the way that you would want to be treated, if that's what respect means, being respectful to someone, they don't have to earn it. They just have to not lose it. They just have to make sure they don't. Yes, your elders for sure. I saw that, but everyone in general, I'll give respect to people younger than me, and it's given freely, without distinction. But someone can lose it. Someone can respectful courtesy was the default. Shame makes you realize consequence is another thing that is a shock to some people. This semblance of Gen Z having a delayed adulthood. I hate saying it that way because it feels like I'm slamming them, and I'm not. But kids stay kids longer than we did. And the law actually recognizes that. That's why 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds. So many of you said, I had 3 kids by 22. I was married at this. I was married at that. I did this. They're becoming adults later in life, and the law recognizes that. That's why parents are allowed to keep their kids on health insurance longer, up to, I think it's 25 or 26 now. That plays into this whole aspect of delayed consequence. When you're a kid, you have that safety net. Hopefully you have parents that are that safety net for you. Once you finally leave the house, that it's 25. Okay, 25. So that delayed adulthood also delays, somebody else said 26. Either way, all of that helps delay adulthood, which delays ultimate consequence. I so hope you see mine and read it because it's so, went to Catholic school 15 years ago. I teach my kids to treat people the way you want to be treated. Leslie, that's everything. That is everything. Do unto others. ACA is 26. That's what I thought. But again, that's at 26. I wasn't on my parents' insurance. At 25, I wasn't. At 22, at 21, at 18, I had a job while I was going. And I think I had a job. I was in school, and I transitioned over to the universities, and I paid rent. Andrew says he follows in with the Roadhouse rule. I'm nice until it's time not to be nice. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there's benefit to that. I think that's a Gen X trait. I think it's something we're proud of. That we're nice. We're easy to get along with. We're whatever. We're chill. We're cool until we're pushed. There's to be proud of. I like that about me. I can be your best friend, and if you really want it, if you choose it, if your behavior stipulates that it becomes necessary, well, then I'll be the worst enemy you could ever hope for. Vindictiveness, vengeance, pettiness, not traits that are admirable, but they may be there. How you doing, Aaron? I think the word generation to be born as, I think the worst generation to be born is as a boomer. I don't know. I think every generation has its thing. I would not trade anything. I would not want to be 20 today if it meant that I had to be born in 2000 and not have experienced as a child the 70s, as a young adult the 90s, as a kid in school the 80s. I would not give that up. That was amazing. And maybe all generations feel that way. But saying all generations feel that way, I can tell you my 21-year-old and my 13-year-old both acknowledge how amazing it must have been to grow up when we grew up. And what they're looking at are two things. They're looking at the absence of social media, the internet, an overflow and overabundance of information flying at them at all times, to be able to walk out the door and disappear. Be gone. Mom, I'll see you later. I'm gone. I'm out the door. I'm out of earshot. That's gone. Unless our parents could somehow catch up to us by calling house phone after house phone, seeing where we are. Once we left, we were gone. That expression of freedom, of disconnect, is foreign to them, and that's what they think is amazing. I just got the notification for your 18 to 30 video. God darn, it's going fast. Wouldn't change my life for anything. I wouldn't either, Ice. We were awesome. What do you mean were? Which decade is worse to be born in? Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be born in the 90s because that meant I left the 80s. And the 80s was cool. Honestly, I wouldn't want to miss the 70s. The 70s was the last old. When I was a 7-year-old in 1977, when I was a 6-year-old, let's say, 7-year-old, those years, dude, I no batteries required. Light bright, maybe. Analog childhood. imagination was paramount, was necessary. We made up the games we played. Yes, we played Red Rover. Yes, we played dodgeball. Yes, we played freeze tag, diaper tag, flashlight tag, any number of tags. Be back soon, Med time. You got it, Linda. But with those games, we also changed the rules. We adapted them. There was so much imagination necessary. It was amazing. And then the 80s came along, and I didn't hate the fact that I had an Atari 2600. I thought it was cool as hell that that arcade experience was going to be able to follow me home. But I will say it was never more fun at home than it was at the arcade. If the option was to sit at home on my 13-inch black and white Emerson playing Atari 2600 or going to the Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn, New York to time out, putting my quarters up for next game and watching the kids play Galaga, Asteroids Deluxe, Joust, Missile Command, watch them play until it was my turn. It was a wholly social experience, and we would take that social experience. I would take that social experience over playing at home any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But I liked it. I liked the technological advances as they came. I date back to the 2600. Star Wars game, I don't remember that one. Pole position, I do remember. And our games needed imagination. If you ever see an Atari Superman, it looks like a Lego. If you saw the basketball game with Larry Bird on the cover is phenomenal. The cover has like Larry Bird doing this jump shot. It looks like, my God, this game's going to be amazing. And it looked like a 3-year-old drew it. You could barely tell who were the people. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you, brother. Say hi to Tula for me. So even our games took a level of imagination. E.T., good one, Aaron. I actually have the number 2600 tattooed on me. Need I ask where, Wirehead? Space Invaders, that was fun. I can hear the music. As soon as I read Space Invaders, I could hear the dunk, 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 dunk. Pac-Man Fever. Short and Sassy, hello. Made my kids watch E.T. A bunch of the kids in the neighborhood, I just found out, have never seen Gremlins. So I'm getting ready for my Christmas movie lineup already. Pitfall, one of my favorite games. Did you know that you could play Pitfall backwards? Instead of moving to the right, you can actually go left. And it makes it a little more challenging. Especially going over there was a Pitfall 2. Especially going over the alligator heads. A little bit more difficult going backwards. Right arm amongst the computer nerds tattoo. Got it. Played a ton of Tabletop Pac-Man. I loved Tabletop Pac-Man. We played it there was a Pizza Hut near where I lived, man. See you, how are you? Centipede, favorite of yours, Latanya? Best music. I just did a video about our music. And how our music, even the music that was inappropriate at the time, I don't know why I made air quotes. Some of it was horrifically inappropriate. Prince, Darling Nikki, is in that video. Two Live Crew, even Cyndi Lauper. But sometimes the naughty stuff in the music was couched, was hidden, was not quite so blatant, and other times it was completely in our face. Aaron collects Swatch watches. I have one. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. George Michael led off the video, actually, Trav, and the video starts with, I want your sex. Little did we know who he was talking to, but that was all right. Salt and Pepper. Yeah, that one I didn't, that should have been blatant. But yeah, I didn't, push it. I should have known what she was talking about. It just didn't ring them. I didn't hear it. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax. Another good one. Favorite John Hughes movie? Out of doubt. Breakfast Club. Nothing even comes close. The others are good. That's my favorite. Although I will say, as far as writing, maybe Breakfast Club is actually, it's right. It's a neck and neck. It's got to be a tie with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like that one a lot too. Different stages in life. Breakfast Club speaks to that 18-year-old in me. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, absolutely later in life. So I can see them being different points in life. And then she's having a baby right smack in the middle, Kristen. Do I think there'll be a Goonies 2? Looks like there might be. Madonna like a virgin, Billy Squire the stroke. Those aren't pillows. Yeah, a lot of music was like that. And it's kind of cool. Some of it was in your face, some of it wasn't. But it was just so I cannot wait for the John Candy documentary. Agree. The thing that I love about our music more than anything else, I've talked about it ad nauseum, is the diversity in music. People will say to me, well, there's diversity in music today. You just have to look for it. And they're missing my point. We didn't have to look for it. We couldn't avoid it. So today, if you want to hear diversity in music, you need to search it out. You need to hunt for it. When we were growing up, it couldn't be avoided. It was every other song on the radio. And we might have gotten 3 or 4 stations that came in clearly. So even changing when a song came on that we didn't necessarily like wasn't the best strategy. You'd constantly be changing stations. So we just dealt with it. We listened to music we didn't love, and at the very least, maybe learn to appreciate it a little bit on some level. Most Gen Xers know some country music. They may not love it, but they know it. They know who Kenny Loggins is. The name Crystal Gale is a bell. Loretta Lynn kind of makes sense. Barbara Mandrell. These aren't names that I'm saying that's causing most of you to draw a blank. You know the names. You know names like Anthrax, Metallica, Judas Priest. You know names like Kenny Loggins, Phil Collins, Genesis. No matter what genre, Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner. It doesn't matter what genre I throw out. Van Halen, Night Ranger, Journey, REO Speedwagon, Bette Midler, Willie Nelson. These aren't names that all of us don't know. I don't know that kids can do that today. Douglas, thank you so much. Then there was what Darling Nikki did. I just mentioned that. That's in the video that I just made with her magazine. The Aretha Franklin, first woman to ever enter into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Commodores. The amount of bands and artists we can all name across so many different genres, I don't know that kids will be able to do that 30 years from now when they're our age. I don't know if that's going to be a thing for them. I never really connected that. You guys are throwing names fast and loose. Temptations, Eddie Rabbitt. I did a video about the passing of Chuck Mangione, who was a jazz artist that was from Syracuse, New York, near where I grew up, upstate New York, central New York. That got like over 2 million views. That resonated with Gen X. I don't think he would have a career today. Certainly not a career that hit the top 40. His songs would never be anywhere near the pop top 40 list. Things were different. Michael Jackson, without a doubt. The Jackson 5, Captain and Tennille, Heart, Bon Jovi. Dude, we can probably, Alabama. What's going on, Peter from SU? Good to see you from Syracuse University. Goo Goo Dolls from Buffalo, New York. That's what I mean, dude. We could go all day long, and I will at least have heard of the artist you're mentioning. And more than that, probably if you tell me a song, I'd probably recognize it as well. Because like I said, we didn't turn the station. We sat for the entire Casey Kasem American Top 40 from beginning to end when we were laying in bed in our room on a Sunday, right? We turned it on. Some of us grabbed the 90-minute cassette and just started playing at the beginning. Laura, thank you for my $2. Still want my $2. We are at just under $23, guys. Thank you. A little ways to go. Aerosmith. Weird Al will be in Orlando when I go down this on the 26th, 27th, and 28th. I hope I see some of you guys there. I love running into you guys. Thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate it. I like it too. I'm actually working on a lot of new merch for the holidays as well. If you guys are fans of the Bumble, Rudolph, some of the old, what was it, Baskin, help me. But anyway, if you're fans of this kind of stuff, stay tuned because I am playing fast and loose with copyright and seeing what I can come up with for t-shirts, for mugs, for holiday themed stuff that means something to us. So stay tuned for that. There should probably be about 10. Rankin Bass, thank you. Yukon Cornelius? Did you doubt me? And that just leaves this guy. So yeah, about 10 different shirts coming out. Misfit Toys may also be making an meeting Weird Al Yankovic officially. I'm going to make every effort. I'm just a couple of misfits. Dude, I'm psyched for Christmas. I don't want summer to end, but I'm looking forward to Christmas. But it's not time yet. But by October, November, the new stuff will be out there. Trivia went pretty well the other night, Anthony. Thanks for asking. Every Tuesday night, I do a live, thank you for the stars, Leslie. I do a live broadcast from Hickory Tavern in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Laura Church, thank you for my $2. $1.99, a penny short, but I appreciate it. Brings us just under $25 or about 30% to goal. I want to be a dentist. Was it Hermie or Herbie with a B? His name was Hermie with an M, right? Good night, LA. You can't fire me. I quit. Seems I don't fit in. 3 of you mirror. Kevin, I haven't had a chance to catch up with the kids. We'll figure it out soon. It is coming back. See if I can find the California Raisins Christmas special. I'm sure I can. Somebody was kind enough to send me a whole bunch of these guys. So that's been added to my collection. Got about 20 of them. Am I challenged? No, Travis, I'm not challenging you. I still remember the UHF movie he did. Bernie? Not Bernie. Hermie. Yeah, Hermie. That's it. Lori, everybody's going with Hermie. I think as a kid, I thought it was Herbie. But that was the love bug. Right? Herbie the love bug and Hermie the dentist. Okay. No, Stacey, I think it was with an M. I don't think it's a B. We can Google it. But I'm pretty sure it was Hermie. Take care, Manita, coming in from Western Australia. What was the name of the group that sung Too Shy to Shy, Hush Hush, Eye to Eye? Too Shy to Shy, Hush Hush, Eye to Eye. Damn it, I know the song. I don't know who sang it. If you give me 3 names, I'll be able to pick it out of the 3. But bringing it up the top of my head, it's not going to come. Gotcha Goo Goo, that's it right there. I don't need 3. It's Gotcha Goo Goo. With a K. I can even spell it. Kajagoogoo. Gotcha Goo Goo. Good call, everybody. I would have had it, actually. Downsizing Swatch collection. Whoever the girl was that said I was lucky to see Whitney, my mom was halfway through the concert because it was so loud for her, too loud for her. I would love it. That would be I'm glad I got to as many concerts as I got to. I think if I have any regrets, it's not realizing when I was young that wasn't going to be a forever opportunity. Take care, Doreen. And by that, I mean, even as an adult making substantially more money now than a kid, concerts were far more affordable for that kid than they are for the adult today. So I wish I had known. I wish that somehow I had realized, hey, get to as many as you possibly can. Douglas, thank you so much. I was partial to Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Put one foot in front of the other, just so long. Dude, I love those songs. One of my core memories, hey, Rich, my parents owned a diner. Most loyal followers will know that. And at the diner we had it every so often, the person that owned the jukebox, we didn't own it, he brought in the jukebox, he serviced the records, he swapped out the records, brought in what was working and that kind of thing, and then we got a portion of the proceeds. But right before Christmas, he would come in, put in some holiday music, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Blue Christmas by Elvis, Willie Nelson might have had a song. There was the guy that sounded like Willie Nelson, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Those records were put into what's going on, Gen X Latchkey Originals over on Facebook, guys. If you see that, give them a follow. Some great original Gen X content. Still going. Go to about 9 o'clock, which is any minute now. But so when those records, Brenda Lee, absolutely, who I think was just a child when she sang that. She was like 13 maybe. But those songs had a green label. So as you were looking at the jukebox, you could spot the holiday music with a green paper label. And I just remember as a little kid being really excited when those songs made it to the jukebox, the core memory. Hey, Carlos, yes, I did post up for Holiday. The actress who played Flo on Alice passed away, Polly Holiday. She was 81, I think. Yeah, not yet. I'm not saying we need Christmas music yet. I'm just saying that was a core memory of when the holidays were coming. Susie, how are you? Major League Baseball tickets were only $20. Dude, I went to so many Bills games, sitting in the end zone, but they were affordable. If you wanted nosebleeds, you could get 10 of your friends to go. It was easy. We've let that get out of control. I don't know if it's because people just, we used to have to invest in our artists. If I wanted the new Van Halen album and I couldn't record it well enough off the radio, I needed to spend $20 on the cassette. And probably, which would be like $60 today. You made my awful day an incredible day. Thank you. You're so welcome. You made my day by saying that, Leslie. Thank you. Crystal Smith says, I was adopted into Gen X. I was born in 81, but grew up the same way. We're happy to have you here, Crystal. Thank you for the 5. Brings us just under $35. We're getting close. And if we don't make it, the consequence is absolutely nothing. But algorithm likes when I talk about it. I like when I get more viewers to share our message, so I talk about it from time to time. I wish I knew that it was going to be difficult to experience these things. I hate that my kids won't be able to. Now, the other side of it is I throw on my MetaQuest, which is like, and I'm not saying VR is as good as the real thing, but you guys would be amazed. I love watching concerts using my VR. Concerts and movies are primarily 2 out of the 3 things I do with VR. And the third thing I do is not what you people with dirty minds are thinking. There's this app that lets you like just walk in different places. So I can put, Athens, Greece, and I'm back in Athens. I can put your address and be standing outside your house on Google Maps, not to be creepy, that kind of thing. I think it's cool. But I wish that concerts would be affordable again. But like I said, I think it's because they're not making on the albums the way they used to. We paid a premium for supporting artists. Now, kids pay a $20 monthly subscription to Spotify and they borrow music, right? They can listen to it as long as they have the subscription. And the minute they're done subscribing, all that music goes away. I appreciate that. Linda says, if you're all females I meet to your channel, well, feel free to send some guys my way too. I mean, not for any other reason, but numbers. I never had pro sports in Portland, but other than the Trailblazers. Thank you, Latanya. Appreciate the stars. You're the best. Chat's going really fast again. Travin. I didn't challenge you, Travin. Nor did I challenge you, Joseph. Thank you both. Travin says you challenged me. I like how music can take you places. For example, Justin Bieber was playing in a cafe I was at. So then I wanted to go to a different cafe. Dude, the kid's got some talent. I gotta be honest. Plays a ton of instruments. Thank you, man. Joseph, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Here's to you for making the world a little bit nicer. Dude, thank you. That's the goal. To share a little bit of how the world was, a little bit of what we'd like to bring back to the world, and the hope that it can happen. That's the ticket. Stay hopeful. Believe that it can happen. We can change it. We are, we pirated plenty of music. We are the change we want to be. I'm not, kumbaya, hug a tree. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm pretty pragmatic. But I had a discussion with my 21-year-old. Sultana and I sat down and almost had an argument of sorts about where the world is and who's to blame for it. And, she pushed back a bit. But I reminded her, I said, listen, we're having a discussion that would never have been possible for me when I was your age. You've raised your voice twice to me, not out of anger, out of passion. But whether it's passion or anger is irrelevant. That would not have been allowed. I love my parents. Love them dearly. They did everything on earth for me. Raising my voice to them under any circumstances whatsoever. Unheard of. I didn't have the voice. Our kids have voices we weren't given. And I don't know if they appreciate that, if they recognize it. You know, I'm like, don't be so quick to judge and blame everything that's wrong on the older generation. There's plenty of hurt to go around. Cajun S, dude, thank you. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Completely unnecessary, completely and totally grateful. Thank you so much. Blasted us through our goal tonight. And guys, you know, money makes the world go around. This is how I get to Orlando in a couple weeks. All of this helps. And that's why I get so excited when I go to these places to meet you guys in person or to bring you content that you can't see in person. You're not all going to be able to get to the panels. So I try to share as much as I can. And that's how I get there. So that's why I talk about it. This is how I get there. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of everybody. Thank you. Somehow let me know how I can get these Swatch watches to him. Aaron, if you're talking about me, if you go to my link tree, my email address is there. It's genxjono80@gmail.com. I'm trying to get a way to sort through some of my emails. It gets a little overloaded. I'm at the point, I'd give you money, but I'm broke. Dude, it's cool. Share a video. Tell somebody to watch the page. Comment on a video, that sort of thing. Thank you so much. All of that works. I make money on a monthly basis due to ad revenue that comes from people watching our stuff. So if you like the message, if it makes you happy, but all you can do is click that like, subscribe, have a friend about it, share a video. That helps me more than you guys know. But yeah, email me. I read almost every email that comes through. I spend a lot of time. Oh, Aaron, I don't like hearing. I hope it's nothing. Well, email me and we'll talk about it. Jennifer, you can find the sweatshirt. You can find the sticker. You can find the t-shirt. You can find the mug, the hat. All my stuff comes with all of that stuff at my merch store. And if you look at the bottom of the Facebook page, it's hard linked. Check out my new merch shop stuff. You can click there to get there. Maddie Gordon, there you are, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. Merch shop is genxjono.dashery.com. You can find a link in my link tree, which is in my bio, or it should be linked everywhere on this page somewhere. Let's just say I need this shirt long term. I need you to be here long term. I look forward to your message. Brave man? What did I do to be brave, Carol? Because I'm not the bravest person on earth, I promise you. How you doing, Angel? Good to see you. Sonny says, I followed you for a while. First time watching your whole show. This is fun. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be inspiring too. Not because I inspire anybody. I don't believe that I'm inspirational. I hope we are. Oh, wearing that hat is brave, dude. This is my favorite. I don't care how shredded it gets. This is never stopping. The hoodie is available in black, Aaron. Actually, the one I've got linked is black. I love your honesty that you bring to light. We were raised, we're so lucky. We are so fortunate to have grown up when we grew up, to be allowed to have made the mistakes we made and have nobody see them, to have little to no evidence of those mistakes, to have been forced by circumstance to be resourceful, to have a hard shell and yet a soft heart, to be able to have sympathy and empathy and compassion for people, and at the same time be a generation that's really not to be messed with. We can be both nurses and warriors, doctors and soldiers and everything in between. I think we came at a time that'll never come again. The shorts I love. These are my favorite shorts. First of all, they're so ridiculously comfortable. But we're really, really lucky. You can't leave a 6-year-old at home anymore, nor should you ever have been able to. But somehow it worked for us. You really shouldn't be beating your children, right? And it's not right that they ever beat children. But we got spanked to different degrees, and somehow, God, it kind of worked. The wooden spoon survivor thing, it kind of worked. I don't know. We got to experience a life that is illegal today. I'm too white to wear shorts. I blind people. We could not be luckier. So yes, it's easy for me to make fun of. I love making people laugh about it. It's amazing. We survived. We thrived. We didn't just survive, Cindy. We thrived. Ella says it did not work. You know what? I will politely disagree. Overall, it worked because we made it work. We made it work. I don't think others might have been able to. We were given the tools to make it work. The polenta stick. Latchkey at 8. I was latchkey probably, easily by 8. Easily. But I had an older brother. So when I was 8, my older brother was 12, so it was on him. Thank you, Steph. We survived and have the scars to prove it. You made me happy today. It worked. I'm glad. Homework for next week. Take the kids to a drive-in. If you can find one. We don't have one real close. But I am ordering for the fall our version of it. I'm going to do outdoor movies for the kids in the neighborhood. If YouTube was around back then, we'd be in jail. Maybe ICE, or maybe we just would have found a way around it. The Bills cap makes my eyes pop. Thank you. Edward says it worked 100%. I think it did. It doesn't mean we had a perfect life. I'm not saying that we had this perfect life, that we got out of childhood with no trauma, with no scars, emotional and physical. We got plenty of both. What I'm saying is we became the kind of people that, for the most part, have been able to have it is what it is mentality about it and survive. That's all. Where do I get a hoodie like that? You can click right through to the pinned on this comment section. You'll see it. It's at my merch shop, GenXJono, GenXJono.dashery.com. There's a link in my bio. All the shirts I wear are self-designed. Sometimes play a little fast and loose with copyright. I try to change just enough to make it work. You can find it there. We had a near perfect life. Big Dave K, what was perfect about my life was the imperfection. The days when things went exactly as I wanted them to, I don't remember. My favorite stories of my youth is when I fucked up. The stories that I share when I'm drinking, when I'm hanging out with old friends, when I'm sharing stories with new friends, my favorite stories are when things went horribly, horribly wrong. We embraced the imperfection. Right? It's not just me. The night when I went out drinking and had a good time and got home and went to bed at a reasonable hour and got up without pain and went to work, those aren't the stories I remember. Stories I remember is when I thought 151 and Coke all night was a good idea, followed by shots of Crown Royal. When I'm puking my brains up down the side of my friend's car as he's driving me home. Wake up not knowing where the hell I am. The story where I drank so much, I walked out of the locker room in Buffalo, New York, opened a car door, thinking it was mine, climbing into the back seat, realizing no way am I in any shape to drive, and I passed out. After puking all over the back seat of, again, what I thought was my car. If you haven't caught on by now, it in fact was not my car. And I didn't realize that until somebody started pounding on the door the next morning. That's the story I remember. That's what made it memorable. So we embrace the imperfection. Yeah, Aaron, oh shit. He was a very large man, and he was very upset with me. I didn't realize I could run that fast. Why do people do that repeatedly? I don't know. I did Mad Dog 2020 behind the mall. Did you pay to have it detailed? Eli, I ran so fast, I didn't have time to pay for anything. The guy was going to kill me. Rightfully so. I just took my hungover drunk ass, popped it into a fourth gear I didn't think I had, and just ran like hell. I would have, but yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. My mom always said, I'm not your friend. My mom said the same thing. Those are the kids you play with in the street. I'm your mama. Don't ever forget it. How much for the Mr. Yuck hoodie? Honestly, Justin, I'm not sure. Depends on size. But there's hoodies, there's regular sweatshirts, there's t-shirts. Hell, there's even stickers if you want to just. So there's a bunch of different ways to sport it. The hats, WKRP hats, one of my favorites. That's fairly new. But yeah, check it out and you'll see. Hey, Christine, I got to start decorating. There's that laugh. It's my mom's laugh. I inherited it. Somebody check the hoodie. I don't think that's bad. Whatever pricing I'm allowed to put, I've got it set for the lowest. So I have different levels that I'm allowed to put. I always select the lowest. All right, Aaron, I appreciate that so much. Yeah, puking down the side of a car was a move. Destroying the paint job. Dumb ways to die. Check out the store, David. If nothing else, even just looking at the stuff there probably will make you smile. Hey, John, first time catching a stream. Thank you for your go live. Love your content and videos. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you. Linda says, I've been drunk that way once, never again. More than once. Conjunction Junction, what's your function? I got that t-shirt. Did I wear that one today? No, that one I wore on a video yesterday, maybe. My favorite one, I've got all the Saturday morning cartoon crew. Oh, this isn't it. This is another one that's fairly new, though. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. If you're a breakfast Princess Bride fan, it's one of my favorites. I like them all. I designed them all, so that's why. Why are none of my friends remembering Mr. Yuck? I think it may have been, like I said, it started in Pittsburgh, so it absolutely stayed on the Eastern Seaboard. Maybe it didn't make it all the way out to the West Coast, but I think that's part of the fun, right? I think some of this stuff that is a core memory for some of us, but not all of us, makes sense. What doesn't make sense is how there are things that we all relate to. The fact that I can say engine number 9 going down Chicago line and you guys can finish the sentence for me, all of you, is weird to me because there's no internet to spread that. And if not that one, then Inca Binka bottle of ink, cap fell off and you do stink. Or my mom and your mom were ringing out the clothes. My mama hit your mother right in the nose. That kind of stuff. The fact that there it is. Mama had a baby and his head popped off. Used to do that with dandelions. Eric says we did have it in Michigan, so it made its way around. Does Mary Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe? Limited edition 1971. Yep, I got the 1970. I thought that was just a sticker for the longest time on the Inigo Montoya shirt. No, I made it look like that. I love that part of it. When I met a couple, on conventions, I'll wear it, and people are like, oh, is that your name? Thinking that I'm wearing a sticker, so that's kind of funny. New York Transit line. That's good to know. I grew up in New York. I don't know why we remember Chicago. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost its wheel and the Joker got away. Loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, and a stick of butter. Still remember. That's a good one for a shirt. I'll do that one next. I like that. Just have a little girl with that list. I can see it. I'll make one. Anyone else miss the Aiko Aiko song? I love that song, Linda. All right, guys. Went a little late today. Crushed the goal. Thanks to Cajun S. Thanks to so many people. Thanks to Travin. Thanks for everybody for donating. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Don't forget, end of the month, 26th, 27th, 28th. If you know that you can be in Orlando, if you live nearby, give it a shout. Give it a try. Look it up. I will be there all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty much open to close, making my way to the panels to stream them. I will post once I get there. I will find you. We can take some pictures. We can hang out for a little bit. We can get to chat. Other than that, I'm trying to get to the Chill Out Expo, which is in Whippany, New Jersey. If you're anywhere close to there, go onto their Facebook page. Give me a plug. Even if you're not anywhere near there, Go onto their Facebook page. Give me a plug. See if they'll invite me up. If for no other reason, that Chips panel I want to share, to be able to sit there and meet John and Ponch would kind of be like my 12-year-old me, my 9-year-old me would be like, dude, you made it. February is the big one. Plan now. Go to genxjono.com, subscribe to my calendar. You'll be able to be featured guest at Big River Fan Convention, which just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. If you can travel, if you've got a trip that you can make, this is the one where I will actually have a table. I will be selling little Funko versions of me that are being made that I can sign, that I can give, that you guys can take as a remembrance if you want to. If not, we can just take a selfie. We can just say, hey, we can just talk. No big deal. But I will be there for that all 3 days as a guest. So if you guys can get to that one in Arkansas, they've been kind enough to fly me out, kind enough to feed me while I'm there, kind enough to put me up in a hotel. I'd love to make sure I have some fans there, some followers there, some friends there, in order to make it worth their while. They call me Yuck Mouth because I don't brush. Yeah, an entire generation. Thank you for sharing the merch link, guys. Entire generation that had to chew those little bread things to make sure that we wouldn't be yuck mouths. Back to the, I don't know what that said. Now it's going fast again. Anyway, that's the big one. That's the one that I would really, and I'll be doing some press with that and hanging out with Carl from the Breakfast Club, the janitor from the Breakfast Club, a fellow first-generation Greek from the Breakfast Club. So it'll be really fun. Fly you out as well, Eli. I could see what I could do. It would be a big plane to get all of us there on their dime. If only now, it only now hit me your initials are JK. John Capitellos, too, the guy who played, if I'm saying his name right, Carl on the Breakfast Club, another Greek JK. All right, guys. So that's it. That's the goal. We'll be live Tuesday night on YouTube. With Gen X Trivia, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Otherwise, I will see you back here, same bat time, same bat channel, with another edition of the wonderful world of Generation X. Thank you guys so much. And I hope I'll see you soon. Have a great week, everybody. God bless.